Let's take a look at what's new in the July 2024 version of Photoshop. So as part of some of these new features, there are a couple of new tools. They are brush tools. So I just want to take a moment to show you where they are. If you don't see those on your toolbar, what I did is I came over here on the menu with these three dots and I clicked on Edit Toolbar, and then I clicked Restore Defaults. So that put all of my tools on the toolbar. Under L, or where the lasso tool is, Selection Brush Tool is something new, and down here by itself, the Adjustment Brush Tool. I said done, so we're going to start off with the new Selection Brush Tool, and that is up here, and it's in the same group as the lasso tool, so that's L. So when I click on that, I have a new brush tool, and it's similar to the other brush tools in that you could change the hardness and the size right here at the top, and in this case you can change the opacity, and you have buttons over here that you can add or subtract from the selection. So the Selection Brush Tool allows you to paint selections with a brush stroke. I'm going to keep my opacity at 100 in this case and take the hardness down a little bit. That brush size is fine. I'm going to paint around this car, something like this. And this is an overlay that you can also change the color of it right here in the overlay option. As you can see, I painted around it and I didn't have to fill it in, and it created a selection. If I click on another tool, you can see the marching ants. So this is similar to the quick mask, and for making selections with a brush, it's more effective than, say, the lasso tool. I showed you how you can change the size of the brush. In addition, using a soft edge brush gives you the ability to make selections that are feathered only where you choose. So what you can also do is click on this add or subtract buttons up here. If I want to subtract from the selection, I click there, increase my brush size, and I can paint away the areas that I do not want included in the selection, something like this. And of course, if I click on the add, there's a little area that I want to add back in the selection, and maybe down here a little bit. So I'm going to invert the selection. I'm going to say Command J to put it on its own layer. I'll change the blend mode to multiply. So this gives me kind of a vignette, and I can adjust my opacity there a little bit. So that's a small example of what this can do. And still on that same layer, I can add this person here into the selection. I can use generative fill, which we're going to go over in a little bit. This came over from beta. I'll hit generate, and I have my variations here. Just remove that person right there. So that's the new Selection Brush Tool. The next feature is the Adjustment Brush Tool, and that is over on the toolbar all by itself right here. The new Adjustment Brush Tool makes using adjustment layers more intuitive. So all you need to do is click on the tool at the top. You can choose the adjustment that you want to apply, or you can use the contextual taskbar to choose it. And when you start to paint, you'll see over in the right hand panel the properties. You can change the adjustment. You can add more brightness or contrast in this case, and you just paint like this. You can see I'm making this area brighter, and you can change these values that you already painted, and you can see that you have a mask now after you started painting. So you can click on the plus or the minus to add or subtract from the mask areas. You can also do that at the top of the toolbar. Now something else you can do at the top, you can choose an object to have the adjustment applied to, or you can click right here in the contextual toolbar, apply to object, and I'm going to click right here on the entire car. And now when I change the brightness and the contrast, it is applied to that object that I have chosen, the whole car, and that is reflected in the mask also. So this technique isn't completely new. Before, you would have to make a selection, create an adjustment layer, and then paint on the mask to show or hide it where you want. But now it's more intuitive. It cuts out several steps. So that's the new Adjustment Brush Tool. Hey, if you're getting any value out of this, I'd appreciate it if you would please subscribe and like this video. It helps out the channel. Like I said, I really appreciate it. Now inside Photoshop is the new integration of the text-to-image feature with the Firefly Image 3 model. This was previously in beta for a while, and I'm sure you saw a lot of videos on this. Over here on the toolbar is an icon, and that is a create an image using a text prompt. So now this will open up the text-to-image prompt. Here we can type in anything we would like to generate, and we're going to generate an image from scratch on our canvas. And I click on Generate Image, and here is the Firefly Text to Image panel. This is the prompt I'm going to use to generate my image. Overlooking beach with rocks and sand with mountains in the distance. And I have a reference image. First I'm going to click on Photo, Reference Image. I'm going to choose the image from my computer. I'm going to click Open. Here you can see a little thumbnail of my reference image This is a photo I took in Hawaii, and I'm going to click generate. And here's the image that I generated from scratch, and it's very similar to the look of my image that I took from my camera. And as usual, you have your different variations down here. You can see in the toolbar, and you can click through them and see which ones you like. And then of course, what I could do is use my new selection brush tool and select this area right here. And that brought up the generative fill prompt. I'll click on that. And this time I'm going to type in boats on the water and click generate. So both the generative fill and the generate image from scratch are over from beta. You see all my variations of the boats that it created with shadows and to scale. And this is a good point to bring up another feature with the contextual taskbar. And I'm going to click on my layer here that it created with the generative fill. I'm going to say Command T for my free transform, and notice the contextual taskbar now has options to flip vertically and horizontally or rotate what is in your free transform. So that is something new in the contextual taskbar. Another new feature that is handy is with the text tool. I'm going to click on the text tool, use the horizontal type, and change the color here. Add in text, things to do in Hawaii. Okay, I just hit return, and in the properties of our text tool, down here, there's something called bullets and numbering. I can choose if I want to have bulleted list or a numbered list. If I'm on my photo in this case, if I had like the number 1 and I'm going to put swim, hit return, automatically it gives me the next number, eat, sleep, shop. And I can change that to a bulleted list. If I click on the bullet, it makes that last one I entered a bullet. Hit return. There's another bullet. I highlight them all. It makes them all numbers. With them all highlighted, hit the bullet. They're all bullets. So that's a handy feature in addition to the text tool that you can do easily. Wasn't there before. And the last of these features that I'm going to talk about is working with shapes. So I'm going to get a rectangle here. As soon as I draw that rectangle, you can see that now in the contextual toolbar, it allows you to change the fill and the stroke directly, including and modifying gradients. Previously, you could only change the appearance of shape layers by switching to the Shapes tool. This is more intuitive now. So let me know in the comments which is your favorite new feature. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials on Photoshop. Remember, it's never too late to learn. Thanks for watching.